everything's good. Good.
Okay.
Let's start.
Well, thank you for this, for attending this month's panel discussion with the City of Houston. As you can see, City of Houston is not here today, but I think we've been doing this for over a year now, and I believe that we can, facilitate the questions that you have, provide you with the information necessary. Today's topic is financial statements, which is necessary for any business, even if you're not in business just yet. We're going to discuss why they're important, the details of them, and also as how it relates to contracts. My name is Jada Harris. I am a SCORE mentor here in the City of Houston. And I have to say City of Houston because we've gone national. People are looking at our panel discussions all over the United States, maybe even beyond. So Houston is the largest chapter in the United States with over 160 volunteers. So we can provide you with free mentoring in practically every area of business. So please go to our website, which is houston.score.org, and you'll find more information and more resources there. We're also, the space that we're in is provided by HCC, Missouri City location. Ravi Brambot, I got it, is the executive director of the entrepreneurship division. And so I'll let him go ahead and provide you with some information about HCC.
Sure. Let me flip over the camera for the recording, and then for the studio audience, I'll turn around. So we're really proud of the partnership with SCORE. This is where we have over 70 buildings across Houston. Most people don't know that HCC is a large community college, and we see about 40 to 50,000 students that go through these 70 buildings, as well as our online. It's a large operation. That means it spends about $1 million a day to stay in operation. A lot of that money comes or goes back into the local small businesses. So folks like yourselves. So we'd love to, if you have questions about our procurement, I'm happy to share links. There's a small business department within our procurement office that coordinates with helping you get access to these services or these programs at HCC that you could potentially become a vendor for. In addition to that, as a community college, we also have, what I call 21st century skills and education. You could find your next intern, your apprentice, your next employee out of the college. You can yourself get certified and get continuing education credits, maybe improve your social media skills by taking a digital communications class. It's one of the most affordable ways to get any type of education or certification. So whether you come for yourself or your employees need training or you need future employees, there is an opportunity for those things at the college. I run a center for entrepreneurship that's overseeing about 5 colleges in the Southwest region. This is Missouri City that you're at. We have a Stafford, Grays Oak, West Loop campus, where again we have multiple opportunities. Our signature programs that I usually don't talk about, but I want to talk about today is focused around building innovation. How we get more kids engaged with more of the future of work, the future jobs. So we do a lot of programs around hackathons, pitch competitions, to just inspire the entrepreneur right in our region, right in the Southwest Houston region. So I'll throw it out there. If you're interested in mentoring any of these students, sign up. Let me know so the next time we have our hackathon, you guys can come in, as a volunteer to mentor for students that are ideating on solutions. So not only are you business owners, but you could potentially be a mentor to an aspiring business owner. Yeah. They may not happen immediately, but so just I'll share that. But those are some things that we have at the college, and we may not know the answer, but we certainly know the people who do. So in this case, Jada is our expert in the room. So thank you so much for that opportunity.
Thank you, Ravi. So again, we're here with the City of Houston, or in conjunction with the City of Houston to provide you with information about contracting, becoming a vendor with the City of Houston, and the steps that it takes, as well as the resources necessary in order to be successful in contracting. My business is contract management, so I provide those services to the community, to the small business community, helping them to understand what is necessary through consulting, coaching, and training their organizations to be successful in the contract management field. In my doing so in research, we found that there are organizations that actually do get the contracts, but they don't know what to do with them afterwards, or they there's information that is missing that doesn't make them successful to get another contract. And so my goal through Harrison Company is to help businesses understand what is necessary in order to be successful. Now, I also do that through SCORE. So you can reach out to me through SCORE. And again, my information is going to be on the last slide along with Robbie's and Dr. Jackson's. So this month's meeting, as I mentioned, covers financial statements. And so we'll first talk about what are financial statements and what they mean to your organization, as well as what it means to the business community. And then we'll talk about the three most important financial statements, as well as the application of them, how to use them, and then to use them for projections in your business. So overview. And again, please ask as many questions. Those of you who are online, please go ahead and type in the questions. Robbie is waiting for you to ask questions. So financial statements provide your organization, your management staff, you as an owner, with the understanding of the financial position of your organization for that period of time, okay? So if you are wanting to know specific information, there are three financial statements that will provide you with specific information. All three combined statements will allow you to understand how to maneuver your business or pivot, as we saw with COVID. SCORE helped the business community to apply for COVID funding successfully. We helped hundreds of businesses apply for funding to help them pivot during COVID. And so one of the first documents that the government asked for in order to get COVID funding was your financial statements. One, to prove that you were in business prior to February of 2021, I think it was 2020. Yeah. And so, alongside some other documents, but the numbers, the financials allowed them to understand, yes, you are operational, okay? Because, and as we saw, there was a lot of people that applied for the funding and had no business whatsoever. And that was the reason it probably took the government about 3 months to change up the requirements because there were so many people committing fraud. The financial statements allowed for them to understand not only were you in business, but you were or were not productive. It depended on your financial statements. Now, to get the money, you didn't have to be, productive. It just proved that you were in business. So any questions so far about financial statements, just as a whole, not about what I just said, just financial statements. Okay, perfect. All right. So the first financial statement that we will discuss is the profit and loss statement, or what's also called the income. So you said LSHA or LTAB? LTAB. Okay. On the bottom there. Oh, there. Oh, so that's the balance sheet. Okay. So the profit and loss statement is me as an accountant, contract manager, whatever you want to call me today. This is my favorite statement because it tells me exactly what I need to know for that specific period of time. I'm a numbers person, so I want to know what sales I brought in. I want to know what expenses went out. I want to know what net income I have earned for that period of time. This particular statement is for the month of July. Now, this is a fictitious company, and I like this one because it has both services as well as products. And so it allows us, whether you have a service-based business or a product-based business or both, allows us to understand what is necessary, or excuse me, what we have brought in based on those service lines or products that we sell. Now, it is important within the system that you're using to create these financial statements that you outline what is income for what specific product or service. I've seen financial statements where all of the income just falls into sales. And that's not very helpful when we're trying to understand, you know, what to do with the income, right? Or what income we've brought in. If I have both services and product for my business and it's all in sales, I don't know which income stream is doing the best productivity for me, or what is not doing well. If it's not doing well, then that means I need to focus on it based on these numbers, right? Now you can run these statements for more than just 1 month. You can run it for the last 3 months, for the quarter, for the year to date. You can run it by week. You can run it by day if you have time for that. to know exactly how much money you brought in every day. Now, usually, if you're doing that, you have an assistant or a bookkeeper or somebody that can run those numbers for you. Prayerfully, that you have a system that you utilize, like QuickBooks, and those of you know me, know I'm the QuickBooks lady, that can produce the statements for you with a click of a button. I still know people that use Excel to produce their financial statements. Oh, we got one in the room. It's okay. We have help for you. Okay. and not that Excel is a bad thing. It's time consuming, and it's a lot of knowledge that you need in order to produce the statements to formulate the numbers to come out the way that they should. And God forbid you put in the wrong formula, you're in trouble. You don't find out 2 months later. Oh, let me tell you. So I have a team of bookkeepers, and I onboarded them January. And I had a client, hopefully she's not watching. I had a client, and we went over her financial statements for June. And then there's something that was off, and I said, that just doesn't look right. So we finished the meeting, we were all good. I go into the numbers because I'm trusting my team is doing the right thing, right? One bank account has not been categorized for the entire year, all of 2023. So that's missing numbers, okay? And on top of that, the previous bookkeeper, meaning the other organization, not my organization, it may have been the owner, set it up wrong. And so everything was pointing to all over, it looked wild. So I was up till 4 o'clock this morning cleaning that up. That does not happen on my watch. So it takes just one little thing to throw your numbers off, and you get to the end of the year when it's tax time and those numbers are not right. Not only have you been producing the wrong information throughout the year, so your decision making has been off, but now it's tax time and you have to clean that up so that you can present it directly to your CPA to submit for your taxes. And if it's wrong, it takes hours. As you can see, 4 o'clock in the morning trying to figure it out. Now that doesn't typically happen. Like I said, had new bookkeepers, there's things going on. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that these things can happen within a business. If it does happen within a business, everything's fixable in accounting. Okay, everything. This is what I tell my clients. Everything's fixable. It's just we have to catch it. Okay. Now, let me get off my soapbox and back to the document. So the profit and loss statement, again, also the income statement. It's also called the income statement. Not only tells you your income, but it also allows you to account for your expenses. Okay. And it's important for you to recognize what your expenses are, not just so you know, okay, I spent let's see, $514.54 in job expenses, okay? But it also allows for you to capture the correct tax deductions when it comes tax time. Each one of these categories gives a different deduction for each one of the categories. So if we put everything in legal and professional fees, which could be, you know, number of things, right? Then, and it really should be in 50% of that, half of that should be in office expenses, then your deductions are going to be off. You're not going to get the better deductions. That's why it's important that we read our financial statements monthly, okay, at least monthly, and then also that we categorize them correctly. Now, if you don't read your financial statements monthly, or you have an accountant or CPA that does not provide you with your financial statements on a monthly basis, you need to evaluate if that CPA or accountant is productive for you, okay? Especially if you're paying them, then you should receive some byproduct every month. That should be your expectation. I have numerous clients that have come to me and said, yeah, my previous CPA, I didn't talk to them until tax time. That's unacceptable, okay? Especially if you're paying them on a monthly basis. Now I have some clients that I reach out to them every month. I send them a notification, hey, it's time for us to meet. If they choose not to meet, that's on them, okay? But if your CPA or accountant is not reaching out to you and saying, okay, I have your statements ready for you, one, the statements may not be being prepared on a monthly basis, and that's concerning. And then two, they're not being forthcoming in the information that they're supposed to be managing for you. So that's just a side note that I think is important within the business community. So now we have all of our expenses, and so the net income is what we are concerned with, which is at the bottom of the statement. For this particular organization, they're negative $913.98 for the month of July. Does that mean that that business should shut down immediately? No, you're right. You're right. No, that just means that that month there were more expenses than income. Okay. And this gives us an opportunity, as we'll talk about later, this gives us an opportunity to say, okay, what can we do in the coming months to change this outcome for it to be positive? Now, this is a July statement, which means we're now into the third quarter of the year. And so you have less than 6 months to turn it around. Prayerfully, the previous previous months were more productive. And so this is just a low month, okay? All right. And if we look at it from year to date, he has a positive income, okay, net income. That's what we're looking for. But in short, the profit and loss or the income statement will provide you with the total of income, which for this organization was $3,064.96. And then minus the expenses, which totaled, let's see, $1,312.94. There were miscellaneous expenses. Now, let me say something about the miscellaneous expenses. It's okay to have a number or a small number of miscellaneous expenses, meaning that it's a one-off. Like you went and got, I'm just saying, for example, you went and got keys made and it doesn't fall into any other category. That's one thing. But when you have a large number like this one, we need to set up categories that separate out these miscellaneous expenses, okay? So we should identify what's in those miscellaneous expenses should go into any of the ones existing categories or create a new one, okay? So with that being said, income minus expenses gave us the negative net income. That's what we should expect on your profit and loss statement. Any questions about the profit and loss or income statement? No? Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Say it again. BCA?
Yes.
CPA. That is a certified public accountant. That individual is the highest level of accounting individual that you would have in your organization. They're generally expensive, and they should be, because they have to get an annual certification to provide you with the information you need on a level of taxes and anything below. They're the only individual that can give you official tax guidance. Now, I'm an accountant. I have clients. They can ask me about retirement accounts, and I say, oh yeah, I know about the IRA. But the minute I say you should get an IRA because of XYZ, then I'm out of pocket, because I'm not a CPA. I can't give that type of advice. Understand? A CPA can. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you the levels of accountancy is bookkeeper, accountant, and then CPA. A bookkeeper, you're going to pay somewhere around $125 to $300 a month to do your bookkeeping. An accountant, you're going to do this, you're going to pay $250 to $600 a month for accounting, depending on the level of service you need. A CPA, you could pay anywhere from $700 to $1,500 a month for their services. And so I tell people that, and that's an estimate, but I tell people that so, because there's a lot of people that get in business, they want to do the right thing, they, they're gun-ho, they got deep pockets, and they go out and get a CPA. That's okay. That's all right if you're willing to, and you need that level of advice. But you can onboard a bookkeeper if all you need is someone to tell you what your numbers are, or to categorize your numbers. An accountant will not only categorize the numbers for you, but they will also tell you how to read those numbers, to understand them as you move forward in your business. Now, a CPA will do all of what the accountant and bookkeeper will do for you, but they will charge you all of $1,500 a month and then farm that out to someone else, because their time is spent on providing tax information. More effective, I should say. All right, did I answer your question? Okay. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So with the mistake you said was cost,
Mhm.
and it's been going on for a year,
Mhm.
how wasn't it captured before then? Because if it was like, if the accounts were set up in effectively in the beginning,
Mhm.
how was that not on this side? So in my mind, I'm thinking like, how can I make sure I don't, or how can I as a client,
Mhm.
because I wouldn't know what to look for, I wouldn't know what to expect. So if I'm
Yeah.
looking at the statement, and I wouldn't know how to identify the issue. So
Absolutely.
how can I do a check and balance system for my reassurance?
Absolutely. You can reach out to SCORE, and SCORE, we're able to look at your financial statements, look at your projections and things like that. We just can't do it for you. So you can reach out to us for free, and we can kind of look at your numbers and say, okay, this looks, like it's, but as far as the setup of, if you're using QuickBooks or you're using an accounting system, you would want to reach out to an accountant, because more than likely, if they're setting up, they have to do it for you. Okay. Through other organizations that I participate in, we are able to do some hands-on. So if you want to talk to me afterwards, I can talk to you more about that. Okay. All right. All right, so that is the profit and loss statement. The next statement is the balance sheet. Now, the balance sheet is not going to necessarily be run on a monthly, quarterly basis. It's going to be run as you need to know information, right? However, it should be checked. So when I meet with my clients, we do look at it every month to make sure that, and this is where I found the error. There was some things sitting in other current assets that shouldn't have been sitting there. And so we were able to look at the statement and make the necessary changes. Again, everything's fixable. But the balance sheet provides you with information from inception of the business, whenever you started using the accounting system, to today. So that's why at the top of here, you'll see as of July 31st, 2023, okay, instead of July 2023 or last quarter of this year, okay? Now you can run the balance sheet based on year, but you typically want to run it from inception to date. Reason being is because you want to know what the equity is in your business. That's what the balance sheet provides you with. And how we understand that equity is an equation of assets minus liabilities equal equity. So can someone give me an example of an asset? Think again, right? That's something that we own. That's ours. That has a monetary value. Another asset would be a vehicle that is owned by the business, right? Another asset could be equipment, okay? So those are going to be things that you own within your business, not that you're leasing, not, that you own, that you could possibly resell if you need to, okay? So you're liquidating the business. You can sell that to add money to your business, okay? Those are your assets. Now, the liabilities is what? Anything that you owe, okay? That you owe, such as credit card debt, okay? In this particular, on this screen, we have payables to the Board of Equalization. I have no idea what that is. Okay. Arizona Department of Revenue, more than likely sales taxes, okay? These are things that we owe. Your payroll, okay, liabilities as it accumulates for the period of time will be listed here, okay? It's not until you pay your employees that it actually becomes an expense, okay? It sits on your balance sheet and the liabilities area as it accumulates. So if you pay your employees monthly during the month of July, the liability accumulates on your balance sheet. Then when you actually pay it, it shows up on your income statement, okay? So we have the assets, we have the liabilities, which equals the equity in your business. And the equity of this particular business is negative $11,775.12. Should this business hang it up? Should they close doors? Not necessary. It's just telling us, one, they can't sell their business. They can't sell it at this point in time for any money. Not to a smart person anyway. And then secondly, is telling us that they owe more than what they owned for the business. They can't possibly get a bank loan because there's no equity in the business. We didn't see any fixed assets like the car or anything on liabilities, or excuse me. Oh no, we do have a truck. So we could sell the truck, liquidate it, and the truck is worth $13,000. That might help. But as of right now, the business is upside down. So looking at the statement right now, it's making us understand that we need to make some changes within the business so that we can be not upside down, equitable. Does that make sense? Okay. So the equation for the balance sheet is assets minus liabilities equal equity in the business. The third financial statement is the cash flow statement. And the cash flow statement, or statement of cash flow, same thing, is not run on a monthly basis. It's typically run on a quarterly basis or over a period of time. So you wouldn't look at a cash flow statement just for the month of July. You want to look at it a period of time because you're looking to see how money is flowing in and out of your business. This particular statement is not a statement that you would utilize on a monthly basis, but you would utilize it to analyze your business, to understand, okay, how can I increase my revenue? How can I reduce my expenses over a period of time? Okay, so this is not a typical, this statement is typically used as for accountants, but it wouldn't be abnormal for them to present it to you to provide you with additional information. Okay. Any questions about the cash flow statement? Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so 3 statements or 3 reports that you should utilize within your business is the income statement, balance sheet, or the cash flow statement. Okay, now application. Now I kind of discussed that or mentioned that during the explanation of the documents. But the application of these statements is to help you understand the financial position of your business for that particular period of time. Can you compare your financials to other businesses like yours to get an understanding of what direction you should go? Absolutely. It's almost necessary. Where would you find that information? You can be creative, okay? But you can go to the library. There's different resources that will provide you with public information about businesses and the statements, their financial positions. And you would get that understanding so that you can say, okay, this home healthcare business made $2.5 million in 2021, which we know is during COVID. What did they do in order to, earn that kind of money during that period of time, which was a challenging time for everyone? You would look at those statements and see, okay, how can I replicate what this business did and do it not only my way, but how can I do it better? It allows you to give a gauge of what you should be doing. The best thing to do is to look at that income statement for the entire year. And you'll see that there were some months that were better than other months. And it may be that it wasn't until December that they earned the 2 million of the 2.5 million for that organization. And it was probably because people came out of COVID and they needed more resources during that month. So it lets you understand, okay, I'm not consistently bringing in the income that, made 2.5 million, but there may be an opportunity for me to earn it later in the year. Does that make sense? Yes, inflex, I like that. Okay. All right, so that's how we can apply the statements to our business. Now, as it relates to contracting, and then see, with Dr. Jackson not being here, I get to dominate the conversation. That's so unfortunate. So please, if you have questions, please, because I can nerd out, okay? Robbie knows I can nerd out on this stuff. But Robbie, did you have any interjections or anything you want to say? He's a business owner too. He's not only a business owner, but he's sold businesses. So he's, done that thing, so, he's a very good resource, for you. So please feel free to ask questions. So when it comes to contracts, especially with the government, okay, because we have private sector, corporate contracts, and then we also have government contracts, okay? So as it relates to contracts, these financial statements are going to be required of you in order to get the contract. Not only do they want to see this year financial statements, so this is July, right? They're going to want to see January through July, but they'll more than likely want to see the last 3 years that you've been in business. Now, the next question is, what if I've only been in business for 1 or 2 years? Then you give as many statements as you possibly can, okay? And in conjunction, they're going to want to ask for your tax statements. One, to make sure that you file your taxes, and believe it or not, there's some businesses that don't file their taxes, okay? So that's a requirement. You can't ask for government funding and not file your taxes. It's a Trump thing. You can't do that, But then also, they're going to compare what's on your financial statements to what's on your tax document to make sure that they match or come very, very, very close. So that ensures that, business is done appropriately. Okay, there's not some, illegal things that are going on, or misguided things, I should say. Okay. Now that's for submitting for a bid. But before we get to bidding on contracts, some organizations, especially minority women-owned businesses, would apply for certifications. Those certifications require at least 3 years of your financial documents if you have 3 years. Okay.
For a new business,
Mm-hmm.
I have my personal.
Mm-hmm.
I have like other businesses that I do but they're not actual businesses. This is like the first real business that I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't have financial statements for business yet,
Mhm.
but I have my personal financial statements. I have rental property. And then the other stuff that I can do consulting for,
Mhm.
I filed it on taxes.
Mhm.
I can use my personal.
So yes, so it does depend on the business structure. So if you are a sole proprietor or a sole proprietor LLC, give me 1 second, then the requirement is that you will definitely have to provide your personal information. So not only are you providing, the business information, documents, tax documents, but then they also go so far as to ask for your personal income for a sole proprietor LLC. If you're an S corp, they will ask you for personal information, but it's not going to be dependent on your personal tax documents. It's going to look at the business tax documents. So if you've only been in business for a year or 6 months or something like that, they're going to only require what you have. Okay, so it does depend on your tax structure, and then or in business structure, but and then it also depends on agency. So City of Houston requires, XYZ. State of Texas may ask for XYZ and ABC. So it just all depends on the agency. Any other questions? Okay, so as it relates to applications, the application of the documents is very important that you have your your tax documents as well as your financials in order before you even formulate the thought of, bidding on a contract, especially as it relates to getting certified within the organization. Those documents are necessary. So the last thing that you want to do when filing for a certification or applying for a bid is scramble to get those numbers together. I've seen it. People have come to me and need 3 years worth of cleanup of their QuickBooks or their, financials so they can apply, or excuse me, so they can file their taxes so they can bid on a contract and get certified. I've seen it more than once. So yeah. So as it relates to projections, so I'm gonna peel back. So we talked about this a little bit, or I talked about it, with the financial documents. We can use them to make projections of what we can do in the next month, next quarter, next year, next 5 years, if we want, okay? And it's best to do projections on a 3 to 5 year basis, okay? One, it lets you know what you're capable of doing and you're setting goals to meet those. And if you're using those documents to understand if you can meet those goals. If you don't meet the goals, what do? You pivot, okay, and make changes so that you can either meet the goals or set new goals, okay? A lot of people say, well, I'm in year 2 of my projections. I'm nowhere close to it. I'm just going to throw in a towel. I mean, you could do that if you want. And if you have that kind of attitude, you might as well, because you got to have, and how often do I say this? In entrepreneurship, especially as it relates to government contracts, you got to have a can-do attitude, and the glass has to be halfway full. You have to pivot. Entrepreneurship is a journey. It is not a sprint. It is something that's it's wild. And if you're not up for the challenge, up for the adventure, which it is, then this is not for the faint of heart. I especially as a mentor, you have people that they heard about how you can lay on the beach and still earn 500 million a year, and they're like, I want to start a business, but they're not willing to put in the work. Okay, you gotta. It's a journey. So the projections will allow you to understand the journey. And the best thing when you come to SCORE is that we help you to understand the business that you're interested in, or other businesses that you're able to get into, that you're interested in, using your skill set, your talents, your gifts, whatever that you're interested in doing, we can help you to develop that. And like our slogan said, it's for the life of your business. So it's not just a one and done, or until you feel like you don't need us anymore. If you meet with us today and then we don't see you again for 3 years, that's okay. You know, we're here for you to help you. You may not get the same mentor, but you know, the organization is here to help you. And if you can't find someone in Houston, which is very hard, then you can talk to someone in Arizona, New York, Florida. It's a national organization that will help you with that. And as Ravi mentioned, HCC has a procurement department of 70 locations. If you focus just on HCC as the possible organization, that agency that you want to work with, there's depending on your business, there's a plethora of opportunities available for you throughout the year that you can, you know, attach to. Another great thing about government contracting is that if you don't see a bid or opportunity available, you can create the opportunity. Maybe they don't know about your organization or what the services that you provide, and they don't know that they need them. You can create the opportunity as not only do you need me, but this is how I can help your business to grow. Okay, so you can market. That's marketing. We talked about that earlier this year and last year. So go on to the YouTube channel on HCC, and you'll see pre-recorded or of the panel discussions that we had in the past with the different topics. So projections as it relates to contracts, and we kind of mentioned this before, and we'll do it for the rest of the year or for all the times that we need. Contracts, especially depending on the service needed, is typically offered for a period of time. So they may only offer it once a year. You may only be able to bid on it every 3 years or every 5 years. What you're able to do is look at how it was bidded on in the past and use that bid to create projections for your business. Now, the other thing that government contracts depend on is what you're doing with other businesses and other clients. So this is a way to say, okay, the city of Houston requires that we have $5 million in revenue, and you're only at 2 million. So that lets you understand, okay, when this bid comes up, I'm gonna need to present three more $1 million in revenue. How can I tap other businesses or other clients in order to increase my revenue? How can I add more streams of revenue to my organization? What, do I need to add employees? More money, more employees, right? More expenses. So, this lets you understand what is necessary to get to the goal that you're trying to set. I absolutely encourage organizations to use previous bids that are already in progress, as an opportunity to set goals for your organization, not just on the city level, but on the federal level. I have people come to me all the time. I want a federal contract, but they've only been in business 6 months. It's not going to happen. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm a glass half full type person, but one of the requirements is that you must be in business for 2 years on a federal level in order to even bid on a contract. There are opportunities where, there's sole source, or, there's only, you that can provide the service, and therefore that 2-year requirement gets thrown to the side. But the general requirement is at least 2 years. So what does that mean for you? Use that federal contract to organize your business, to set goals, to bid on contracts through the city, through the county, through the school districts, so that you can get that acumen, that contract management acumen up. So by the time you hit that 2 years or beyond, you'll be able to bid on that federal contract. Okay. All right, so that is projections. Now, SCORE on our website, under our resources tab on the Houston website, you will find a financial projections template, Excel template, that you can utilize in order to help you with projections. So we do have that resource for you. Okay. So do you have any questions about projections? Okay.
I do have a question.
Okay.
Projection. So
Okay.
Was it, you're saying that we have to do at least 5-year projections, like for startup, per se?
I would suggest 3 to 5 years. Yes. Mhm.
How would I determine the increase each year to calculate my projection for the next year?
2 ways. So now in my past, I worked for a major university and I was an accountant for two corporations simultaneously. So this is how we typically did it. We would project a 5% increase in income per year. Okay. And then for expenses, we would project a 3% increase. Now, that's, to include inflation or changes in the business or something like that. You can be, it could be higher or lower depending on the industry. Now, home healthcare business compared to a museum business is going to be different. So the second way is to, like I said earlier, use financials from other organizations that are similar to yours to see how they project it out. And if they're successful, of course, you want to use it. If not, then you would want to consult with SCORE or a consultant to help you to make those decisions. Okay, all right. Any other questions? And it doesn't have to be about projections. It could be about anything about business, contracts, contract management. I'm here for you for the next 7 minutes.
We'll go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay. All right. Thank you.